What is up, everybody in Blue Cranium land? So for today's video, guys, I'm going to be drawing all this cool looking skull coffee mug. If that's something you guys are interested in, stick around and let's get started. So I started out by drawing this oval shape, which will make the top of the mug, obviously. And then these little lines down the side of them. And the inspiration behind doing this would have to be, just browsing or scrolling through Pinterest. And I think for the search term, I kind of typed in skull mugs or coffee makers and just seen what is out there. First initially, you kind of see this AI looking junk, which, is irritating because you see more of it. But I kind of look for the ones that are actually hand drawn and see if anything else is out there. But it's just fun to recreate characters on things that you wouldn't most probably not think about in like regular life. When you think about a coffee mug, it's usually just a coffee mug with some funny sayings or some sarcastic sayings. But me, I like to add my skulls and skeleton theme vibes to everything. So these are more like just fun little sketches and trying to see what I can come up with on the fly and turn these everyday objects that we see into my weird looking skulls. Just the other day I was just scrolling through, I think, Instagram, and I happened to come across this account. I'm trying to remember what the name was, but anyway, but basically what it had was this girl had made cool looking skeleton earrings, and I was like, man, those are so cute, having to think about it, making these different accessories all skull and skeleton related. I thought it was really cool because as I said, the goal of mine is to turn this channel Blue Cranium into a brand, hopefully. And the way it's going on, I don't know if it's going to happen in this lifetime, but hey, you got to keep trying. And what I thought was really cool when I was looking at her account is she had these cool looking skulls and skeletons, as I said. And I think some of them were your usual cream color, and then some were blue with yellow eyes. And it's just kind of cool to see something so small put together. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she probably may have used the I think it's clay I think it's molding clay of some sort. And then I think you have to bake it at some point to retain the actual shape. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I think as I was scrolling through her account in the reel section, I think there was a quick shot where she actually shows a glimpse as to how she actually maybe a walkthrough as to how she actually makes these characters come to life, So yeah, I figured I'd speed up the drawing so it doesn't become a hour-long me just rough drawing it. Can you imagine how cool it would be if you could draw this quickly? Man, the amount of illustrations you would get done and, may finalize it by the end of the day. So here it is. And let's see. Looking good. Alrighty. So now at this point, I figured I'd bring it into Adobe Fresco and start with some vector art. And I think this software makes it really simple if you're trying vector for the first time, because basically what you're doing is you're just using the vector brush as if it were a digital Sharpie marker and just drawing over the line art that you created. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I like this app, because I've played around with Adobe Illustrator over the years, but never really found it too intuitive to use as easy as how this is to use the vector brushes in this program. The other feature that I love about in this app is the ability to draw lines or lines past these two intersecting points and then be able to delete them without messing up the line art that you've already done. And I think that's a really cool feature, especially when you're doing the line art, because that's something you can't really do in Procreate, because if you try to, you always end up erasing more of the lines than you are. So the only way around that is to work on separate layers. I think the process of inking or digitally inking by itself only is so relaxing, just having to glide that Apple Pencil down the tablet screen. And I think it depends on if you have the matte screen protector or the glass one. Like for me, I've tried both, and I think I may have talked about it in an earlier video, but the pro, I think, of having the matte screen protector is definitely that you have that textured surface, so you don't feel like the pencil is kind of like just gliding all over the page. I'm not the page, I'm sorry, the digital page. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. So now here for the coloring, I figured I'd change the background so you guys can see what I was doing. And since I chose dark brown for the line art, I figured I'd stick with like an orange color for the actual mug and see how that looks. Sometimes you gotta play around with it a little bit more, because the orange that I see on the actual screen is a little different than what you guys see when I actually see the video after it's done recording, or I'm actually editing the video. So I kind of have to see what would look cool. But anyway, in this aspect, the choosing of the color, is something that you guys can pretty much change and try something of your own. You could even have gone for a red, since the wonderful, magical season of Christmas is just around the corner. I can't imagine it's going to be December or December 1st pretty soon. And before you know it, this year is going to be done with. And next year is going to be a whole new year of drawing some more cool looking skeletons. But yeah, having this damn cough, which I know I told you guys about in my earlier video, is irritating, because it's always when you think that you feel it's clear and you're ready to talk, you feel like that weird kind of feeling at the back of your throat, and that's why my voice kind of keeps changing through this entire voiceover. So if anybody's wondering what's going on, no, it's not a special effect. It's just my throat playing games with me. But here now for the teeth, I figured I'd choose like a nice cream color, and actually choosing the brown for the eyes and the inner section of the mouth kind of mimicked that there was darker coffee, and then like at the top, it looks like it's lighter because of the cream. So I figured that was unintended, but I think I like how it came out. When it comes to the applying of colors, I think orange, yellow, and purple are definitely colors that take some time to get the hang of having to shade them, because sometimes orange can be way too much orange. And then I think yellow is definitely another one where you can play around with it, and if you don't get it right, the yellow kind of ends up looking like this muddy color. So instead of having to illustrate a shading or show a shading going on, it kind of looks like there's mud falling on your art. So yeah, so the orange, as I was saying, I kind of just use the default method now, at least what I use, where I use the line art on one layer and then just turn down the opacity to about 30 to 40% depending on the illustration. And if it looks good, I leave it at that, or if not, I go with the second layer on top of the original one, and then bump that down to, or turn it up to about, well, not bump it up, turn it down to about 40%. So then it kind of has this double shading going on. And I think that's mainly dependent on the color that you're using. So this one, again, was a complete trial to see how it looks. I mean, you can't really tell a whole lot going on right now. But as you'll see in the final one, I kind of played around with the colors and changed things up a bit and not kept everything orange. So yeah, the orange color, purple and yellow is definitely something I'm gonna have to work with, which is why I try to stay away from these colors, and I like using blues and greens in most of my illustrations, because those are more I think the color looks more vibrant. And well, I guess with this, orange and yellow would make a nice combination color, or a complementary color. And but when you use both of the same colors, like the monochromatic scheme, it kind of takes away, I think. Maybe that's just my take on it. But comment below what you guys think when it comes to color choices, whether you like or if you all guys think, coloring in orange, yellow and purple makes a difference in the final illustration. As you can see now, I'm just going ahead and finishing up some of the shading. And I think maybe the eye could have been a little bit more darker because it's on the inside. As I said, coloring with the orange is just like the yellow, it's always playing around. And oh well, whoop-de-doo. But all in all, these illustrations, guys, have really been fun. And I think maybe I might turn them into like small little stickers, maybe, back after everything is said and done. So now here you'll see it kind of finally changed up the colors a little bit. It gave it some yellows and some blues, so it kind of had that nice fiery look. But anyway, guys, let's go and wrap this video up by saying keep creating, keep drawing, guys, and I'll see you all down the road. Take care. Bye for now.